In this very moment, we are standing on the edge of a precipice. The storm is coming, and it waits for no one. We have a choice: remain blind to the inevitable, or awaken to the reality that we must prepare before it's too late. This is not a message of fear, but one of urgency. It is a call to action, a reminder that true strength lies not in reaction, but in foresight. The world around us is constantly shifting, and in this shifting, we must find our center, our readiness. It is easy to live in comfort, to ignore the signs that everything we hold dear can be swept away in an instant. But my friends, we must understand this. Readiness is not an option. It is a necessity. If we fail to prepare now, when the storm arrives, we will have only ourselves to blame. This is not about waiting for a savior, for a perfect moment. This is about taking control of our own destiny. And I ask you now, are you ready to face what's coming? It is easy to live in a state of denial, where the comfort of the present blinds us to the realities of the future. We tell ourselves that the challenges we fear are distant, that we are safe in our routines, and that life will continue as it always has. But this is not the truth. The truth is that change is constant, and challenges, whether personal, societal, or global, are inevitable. If we fail to recognize this, we are choosing to live in a fantasy, one where we assume we will always have time to prepare, always have time to act, always have time to adjust. This mindset is a trap. It is a fragile illusion that only weakens us when the inevitable storms of life come crashing through. To awaken to reality means to face the world as it truly is, not as we wish it to be. It requires us to step outside our comfort zones, to open our eyes to the unpredictable nature of existence, and to understand that things will not always remain the same. This is not a pessimistic outlook, rather it is a pragmatic one. The world is constantly shifting, and the only way to navigate these changes is to recognize that they are coming, and they will arrive, whether we are ready or not. The longer we delay this awakening, the more we risk being caught unprepared. Think about the natural world for a moment. Animals and plants respond to seasonal changes long before they arrive. The bear doesn't wait for the first snowfall to start preparing for winter. The tree doesn't wait until the heat of summer to start conserving water. Nature operates on instinct, and in a way, we must do the same, developing an awareness of the cycles around us, the signals of change, and the steps we can take now to avoid being blindsided by them. But it's not just nature we must acknowledge. The world is shifting in so many ways that we can no longer afford to live in a bubble of complacency. Geopolitical tensions, economic instability, and environmental degradation are just a few of the factors that could disrupt our lives at any given moment. These shifts are often gradual, almost imperceptible at first, but over time they build into forces too large to ignore. History is filled with examples of civilizations that ignored the signs, choosing comfort and denial over preparedness, and paying the price for it. What makes matters worse is the way we are conditioned to ignore these signs. Society often encourages us to focus on the short term, to live in the present and avoid thinking too far ahead. We are told to enjoy life, to seek happiness now, to take what we can get without worrying too much about the consequences. There is nothing inherently wrong with enjoying life, but when this mindset becomes an excuse to turn a blind eye to future challenges, we do ourselves a disservice. By ignoring the reality of potential difficulties, we ensure that when they arrive, we will not have the tools or the mindset to deal with them. Awakening to reality also means understanding that no one is exempt from the difficulties that come with life. The idea that we are invincible or that we are somehow immune to hardships is a dangerous myth. We all face setbacks, health issues, financial struggles, personal loss, or unforeseen global events that can change the course of our lives. The only way to be resilient in the face of these challenges is to acknowledge their existence and prepare for them proactively. Ignoring them only creates a false sense of security, which leaves us vulnerable when things do take a turn. It's not just about recognizing the external forces that may disrupt our lives, but also about acknowledging our internal state. We often avoid confronting our own weaknesses, doubts, and fears. We push them aside in the hope that they will go away or that they will somehow resolve themselves. But the reality is that these internal struggles require just as much attention as the external ones. Denial of our own personal issues, be it fear of failure, insecurities, or unresolved trauma, will only keep us stuck when faced with difficult circumstances. In this sense, awakening to reality is not only about acknowledging the challenges in the world around us, but also about confronting the obstacles within ourselves. Both external and internal readiness are interconnected. If we are not mentally prepared to deal with difficulties, it doesn't matter how much we prepare materially or physically. Without a strong, prepared mind, we are still unready to face what's coming. When we finally awaken to reality, we are confronted with a choice: to live in fear of the challenges ahead or to rise above them with awareness and strength. It's not about preventing difficulties from happening, because that's impossible. What we can control is how we prepare, how we respond, and how we learn from the experiences that life will inevitably present. The first step, however, is to stop pretending that the challenges aren't coming. To prepare ourselves, we must first see the truth clearly. Only then can we move forward with purpose, equipped with the understanding that the world in all its complexity is ever changing, and we must adapt accordingly. Preparation is not merely a precaution, it is a form of strength. While others may react in panic or confusion when challenges arise, those who have prepared will be poised, calm, and able to face the adversity with a clear mind. The power of preparation lies in its ability to give us control over a situation that, by its nature, is unpredictable. It is easy to wait for something to happen and then respond, but true power comes from being proactive, from taking deliberate actions well before the crisis arrives. Many people mistakenly believe that preparation is only necessary in moments of immediate crisis, when the storm is already upon them. They wait for the situation to escalate, assuming that they will have enough time to react and adapt as the situation unfolds. The problem with this mindset is that by the time you're reacting, the game has already changed. Reacting to challenges as they arise often leaves us scrambling, making decisions under pressure, and facing the consequences of our delayed actions. In this state, we are no longer in control. Circumstances have dictated our response, and we are playing catch-up. Preparation, on the other hand, allows us to meet challenges on our terms. When we prepare, we anticipate the storm before it hits, enabling us to make decisions based on insight and foresight rather than panic and emotion. Preparation does not mean that we can predict every possible scenario or eliminate all risks. The world is inherently unpredictable, and even the best laid plans can be thrown into disarray by unforeseen events. However, preparation is not about certainty, it is about resilience. By preparing, we cultivate the mindset and the resources that will enable us to adapt when the unexpected happens. In this way, preparation becomes less about controlling the future and more about empowering ourselves to face whatever the future brings with strength and confidence. One of the key benefits of preparation is that it provides us with options. When we are prepared, we are not bound by the limitations of our immediate circumstances. We have options to choose from, strategies to implement, and backup plans to fall back on. This flexibility is what separates those who merely survive from those who thrive in the face of adversity. It's about having the freedom to respond with a range of solutions, rather than being forced into a single, often reactive course of action. A prepared individual has multiple pathways to take, each one informed by thought, careful planning, and a solid understanding of the situation. It's also important to remember that preparation is not only about material resources or external strategies, it is about cultivating internal strength. Emotional preparation, mental fortitude, and clarity of purpose are just as important as any external action. It's easy to focus on gathering supplies or developing tactical plans, but if our minds are not prepared to deal with the challenges ahead, all the external preparation in the world will not serve us. Preparation involves training our minds to stay calm under pressure, to remain focused when emotions run high, and to make clear decisions when everything around us seems uncertain. Without mental and emotional readiness, even the best prepared individuals can be rendered powerless by the weight of their fears, doubts, and anxieties. Another key aspect of preparation is the ability to learn and adapt. Preparation is not a one-time action, but a continual process of growth and adaptation. It requires us to constantly assess our strengths and weaknesses, our goals and challenges, and to adjust our strategies as needed. This is where the real power of preparation lies. It keeps us in a state of constant evolution. Those who are prepared do not simply respond to crises. They learn from them, adapt, and evolve stronger. It is through this process of continuous improvement that we build resilience, not just for the moment, but for the long term. The idea of preparation often carries a certain level of discipline and rigor with it. It's not always glamorous. It's the hard work done in the quiet moments, when no one is watching, when the world is not yet in crisis. It's the mental exercises, the planning, the practice, the training, and the small actions that add up to something greater over time. Preparation requires consistency, and it is this consistency that builds the foundation for strength. The more prepared we are, the less energy we waste when faced with a challenge. There is no scrambling, no panic, just action, guided by the clarity that preparation has provided. It's easy to take a reactive approach, to think that we can handle challenges as they come, to believe that we will somehow figure it out in the heat of the moment. But the truth is that this approach is fraught with risks. Reaction is not always wrong, but it is far less effective than preparation. When we prepare, we create a space where we are no longer simply reacting to life. We are actively engaging with it. We are taking responsibility for our outcomes, and we are taking the necessary steps to ensure that we can meet challenges head on when they appear. In a world that is constantly shifting, in a world where no one can predict exactly what will happen next, preparation is the one thing that gives us a fighting chance. This doesn't mean we can avoid every setback, every disappointment, or every failure. No amount of preparation can protect us from all the uncertainties of life, but it does give us the strength to face those setbacks with resilience, to learn from them, and to grow stronger as a result. Preparation is not a shield against life's hardships, but a sword that allows us to navigate them with greater confidence, clarity, and purpose. And in the end, it is this inner strength, this ability to face whatever comes with a steady heart and a clear mind, that is the true power of preparation. Waiting for the perfect moment to act is one of the most common traps people fall into. It's the belief that conditions need to be ideal, whether that's perfect timing, perfect resources, or perfect circumstances, before we can take the first step. This mentality, while seemingly logical, is one of the greatest hindrances to growth, progress, and success. The truth is, the perfect moment rarely exists. If we continue waiting for everything to align perfectly, we risk doing nothing at all. Life doesn't wait for us to be ready. Challenges don't ask for our permission to appear. The world doesn't give us a chance to prepare for everything that will happen to us. To take control of our own destiny means to act now, even when conditions aren't ideal. It's about stepping out of our comfort zone and taking responsibility for the outcome, rather than relying on external factors to dictate our actions. When we wait for the perfect moment, we are surrendering control to something outside of ourselves, something that we cannot predict, cannot control, and cannot rely on. But when we take control, we stop waiting. We act with whatever resources, knowledge, and energy we have available at the time. This doesn't mean being reckless or unprepared. It doesn't mean acting without thought or strategy. On the contrary, taking control is about making calculated, deliberate decisions, even in the face of uncertainty. It's about understanding that the conditions we wait for may never come, and that our best chance for success lies in acting with the resources we already have. This is the essence of self-empowerment. Instead of waiting for things to be perfect, we learn to make the most of what's already available to us. Often, waiting for the perfect moment is tied to fear: fear of failure, fear of making the wrong choice, fear of not being good enough, or fear of judgment. We tell ourselves that if we wait long enough, we will somehow be better prepared, more skilled, or more confident. But what we fail to realize is that this waiting only magnifies our fear. The longer we wait, the more our doubts and insecurities grow. We give our fear space to expand, to convince us that we're not ready, that we need more time, that we should wait until the time feels right. The truth, however, is that waiting does not eliminate fear. It only postpones the inevitable. We will always face some level of fear or uncertainty when we decide to act. The key is not to eliminate the fear, but to move forward despite it. Those who succeed aren't those who wait for the perfect conditions. They are the ones who act in the face of fear and uncertainty. They understand that courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act in spite of it. The idea that we must wait for perfect conditions also stems from a false belief that we must have everything figured out before taking action. We convince ourselves that we need to know exactly how things will unfold, that we need to be able to control every variable before moving forward. But this kind of certainty is an illusion. Life is unpredictable, and no matter how much we plan, things will not always go as expected. Waiting for certainty only keeps us stuck. Instead of waiting for the perfect map, we need to take the first step and then adjust our course as we go. By taking action, we gain momentum. It's in the act of doing that we learn, adapt, and refine our approach. Every step, no matter how small, propels us forward. It's through trial and error that we gain insight, not from endless planning or preparation. The more we wait for the ideal moment, the more opportunities we miss. By the time we think we're ready, the world may have already moved on, and the circumstances we were waiting for may no longer be relevant. This is why taking control is crucial, because while we wait for the perfect conditions, the world continues to evolve, and the chance to act may slip away. Taking control is also about owning the responsibility for our lives. When we wait for others to give us permission, or for external factors to line up in our favor, we are relinquishing our agency. We are waiting for something outside of ourselves to validate our decisions. But true control comes from within. It comes from the confidence to make decisions for ourselves, without waiting for external approval or ideal conditions. It's about understanding that we are the architects of our own lives, and that waiting for someone or something else to make the first move only delays our own progress. There's also a practical aspect to taking control. Life, by nature, is unpredictable. We cannot prepare for everything, and we cannot wait until everything is in place. Instead, we must learn to act with what we have. This is not to say we should be impulsive or reckless, but that we should take the opportunities that present themselves in the moment and trust that our ability to adapt will carry us through. Acting in the present moment with purpose and conviction allows us to build the skills, knowledge, and experience we need to face future challenges. The more we act, the more we learn. The more we learn, the more prepared we are for what comes next. The idea of waiting for the perfect moment also places unnecessary pressure on ourselves. We set an unrealistic standard, thinking that we must have everything aligned before we can move forward. This creates a cycle of inaction, where we constantly judge ourselves for not being ready yet. But the truth is that we will never feel fully ready. If we wait for that feeling of complete readiness, we will always find reasons to put things off. Instead, We need to accept that readiness is not a destination, it's a process. The only way to become truly ready is by acting now, in the best way we can, with what we have. Waiting for the perfect moment keeps us trapped in the illusion of control. It convinces us that we can dictate the terms of life, when in reality, life will unfold whether we are prepared or not. The key is not in waiting for the perfect conditions, but in taking ownership of our lives and our choices, and acting despite the uncertainties that inevitably come with it. Only when we stop waiting for the ideal moment can we begin to seize the opportunities that lie before us, knowing that our ability to adapt, learn, and grow is what truly defines our success. The future is inherently uncertain, and while many of us may attempt to predict or control what lies ahead, the reality is that we cannot foresee every challenge, setback, or disruption that may come our way. The future doesn't ask for permission to be difficult or chaotic. It will unfold in ways that challenge our expectations, test our limits, and push us far beyond our comfort zones. But here lies a powerful truth. It is not the challenges that define us, but how we choose to respond to them. The storm, as it approaches, can bring with it moments of profound growth if we embrace it with the right mindset. In life, we often find ourselves at a crossroads where the pressure to avoid conflict, discomfort, or adversity becomes overwhelming. We see the coming storm and instinctively retreat, hoping that if we ignore it long enough it will pass. But storms are not passive. They do not wait for us to be ready. Whether it's a personal crisis, a global shift, or an unforeseen disaster, waiting for the storm to subside before acting is a dangerous game. The true power lies not in avoiding the storm, but in choosing how we engage with it. The storm is inevitable. How we face it is our choice. Facing the storm requires an understanding that adversity is not something to fear or run from. It is something to prepare for and ultimately embrace. When we view challenges as external forces that are against us, we position ourselves as victims of circumstance. This victim mentality only weakens our ability to act, and it makes us passive observers in our own lives. Instead of letting the storm control us, we must recognize that it is within our power to shape how we respond. The storm can be a catalyst for transformation. It can sharpen our focus, build our resilience, and lead us to a deeper understanding of our true capabilities. One of the most profound aspects of facing the storm is recognizing that it forces us to grow. Growth doesn't occur in moments of comfort and ease. It happens in the face of adversity, when we are stretched beyond what we thought was possible. Every storm we face presents an opportunity to expand, to evolve, and to discover new dimensions of ourselves. It may not be easy and it may not be immediate, but through facing the storm head on, we break free from the limitations of our previous understanding. We uncover strengths that we didn't know we had, and we develop the resilience necessary to navigate future challenges with greater wisdom and confidence. Moreover, storms remind us that we are not alone. In times of adversity, we often look inward, believing that we must face our challenges by ourselves. But every storm, no matter how overwhelming, is shared by others. Whether we're dealing with personal struggles, financial hardship, or global crises, we are part of a larger collective experience. The storm may isolate us in some ways, but it also unites us in others. When we face adversity together, we can lean on each other, share wisdom, and offer support. This shared strength multiplies our ability to endure and ultimately thrive. Choosing to face the storm also means embracing a sense of personal responsibility. Many people shy away from responsibility, hoping to shift the burden of change onto others or onto external forces. But true empowerment comes from taking full ownership of our circumstances, no matter how challenging they may be. We must take responsibility for our responses, our actions, and our mindset. We cannot control every aspect of the storm, but we can control how we choose to react. By accepting responsibility, we reclaim our agency, and we stop allowing the storm to dictate the terms of our lives. Instead, we become active participants in our own journey, choosing how we navigate the turbulent waters. Facing the storm also requires us to relinquish the need for certainty. We are often uncomfortable with uncertainty, preferring to know exactly what will happen, when it will happen, and how we should respond. This need for control keeps us paralyzed in indecision. But the storm is unpredictable, it cannot be tamed, and it will not give us all the answers in advance. Learning to live with uncertainty, to make decisions with incomplete information, and to trust ourselves in the face of the unknown is one of the greatest challenges and rewards of embracing adversity. When we let go of the need for certainty, we open ourselves to possibility, creativity, and growth. Resilience is built in the storm. It is through facing adversity that we develop the mental, emotional, and physical endurance to withstand future challenges. The more we face, the more we are able to weather. Just as a muscle grows stronger with repeated exercise, our ability to overcome adversity is strengthened by every challenge we face. It is in these moments, when everything feels like it is unraveling, that we find the opportunity to build our resilience. When we can stand firm in the storm, we come out the other side more capable, more adaptable, and more confident in our ability to navigate life's unpredictable nature. The storm, in all its fury, can teach us the value of flexibility and adaptability. It reminds us that our plans, no matter how carefully crafted, will sometimes be interrupted. The ability to pivot, to shift direction, and to adjust our course when things go wrong is one of the most valuable skills we can develop. The storm may knock us down, but it does not have to keep us down. We can rise, adjust, and move forward with a new sense of purpose. Flexibility, not rigidity, is the key to surviving and thriving in times of uncertainty. It is also important to recognize that not all storms are destructive. Some storms bring with them the rain that nourishes growth. In the same way, challenges and adversity, while difficult in the moment, often lead to a deeper, richer life experience. These trials can teach us patience, humility, empathy, and wisdom. They help us recognize the fragility of life and the strength of the human spirit. The storm, while challenging, is not our enemy. It is our teacher, our guide, and ultimately our catalyst for change. When we embrace the storm, we learn that it is not the absence of challenges that leads to success or fulfillment, but our ability to face them. The storm may be unpredictable, but our response to it is within our control. In facing adversity with courage, adaptability, and responsibility, we transform the storm from a force of destruction into a force of empowerment and growth. As we stand on the threshold of an uncertain future, it is not the absence of challenges that we must fear, but the failure to prepare for them. The storm will come, whether we are ready or not. It is a certainty that life will throw obstacles in our path, but it is how we choose to respond to these challenges that will define us. We have the power to awaken to reality, to see the world as it is, not as we wish it to be. By preparing, we build the resilience, the strength, and the mindset necessary to navigate what lies ahead. And in doing so, we stop waiting for perfect conditions and take control of our lives, stepping forward with courage, clarity, and purpose. As we face the storms of life, we do not stand alone. Together, we are capable of more than we can imagine. The storm may shake us, it may test us, but it cannot break us if we face it with readiness, responsibility, and a willingness to adapt. We are not victims of circumstance. We are the architects of our own destiny. Let us not shy away from the challenges that lie ahead. Let us embrace them, knowing that every storm we weather strengthens us, prepares us, and moves us closer to becoming the best versions of ourselves. In the end, it is not the storms that determine our fate, but how we rise to meet them. Let us rise, ready, resilient, and resolute.